The rooftop art market was the kind of place people went to feel something without admitting they needed to. String lights flickered above rows of folding tables covered in handmade ceramics, dried botanicals, and abstract prints that all kind of looked the same. The air smelled like incense and overpriced matcha. Everybody up here was performing something. Performed ease. Performed taste. Performed like they were not trying. Zane Holloway was 29, and he was not performing anything. He wore a washed-out black crewneck, sleeves pushed up, over loose-fit dark charcoal cargo trousers that had a small paint stain near the left pocket he never explained. His shoes were beat-up low-top Converses in off-white, the kind of worn that only happens over years. His locks were pulled back loosely, a few falling forward. He had the kind of stillness that made people look twice, not because he was doing something, but because he was doing absolutely nothing, and somehow it read louder than everything else in the room. 3 weeks ago he had deleted his entire company, all 4.2 million followers, every social account, every trace. No explanation. No farewell post. Just gone. He was standing in front of a small oil painting of a burning building when he heard a voice cut through the rooftop noise behind him. That one is not worth what she is asking. He did not turn right away. The voice was low, certain, unbothered. When he did turn, she was talking to the artist, not him. She had on a cropped chocolate brown leather jacket over a white fitted long sleeve, with high-waisted wide-leg linen pants in deep olive, cuffed once at the ankle. Her sneakers were vintage New Balance 550s in cream and forest green, clearly lived in. Her hair was in a messy high bun held together with a yellow pencil, and she had a single thin gold hoop in one ear. No bag. Just a worn-down notebook tucked under one arm and a pen behind her ear. She looked like someone who had already figured out what most people were still searching for. The artist started to argue. The girl in the leather jacket opened her notebook, pointed to something written inside, and the artist went quiet. Price dropped on the spot. She picked up the painting, turned to walk, and walked directly into Zane. Not almost. Directly. The notebook hit the ground. He picked it up before she could. "You always correct strangers in public?" he asked. She looked at him like she was deciding whether he was worth the words. "Only when something is wrong," she said. She took the notebook out of his hand, tucked it back under her arm, and kept walking. He stood there. He had run 3 companies. He had spoken in front of packed auditoriums. He had never once in his life felt like a conversation ended before he was ready. Until right now. He did not know her name. He did not know anything about her. But something in his chest shifted the way things shift right before everything changes. He looked down. She had left the pen. The one from behind her ear. It had fallen and she had not noticed. He picked it up. It had 3 words written on the side in faded ink. "Don't look back." He looked up. She was already gone. He told himself he was not looking for her. He almost believed it. It was a Tuesday evening, a small pop-up poetry reading in a converted warehouse space in the Arts District. The walls were raw brick. Mismatched pendant lights hung at different heights. The crowd was maybe 40 people sitting on floor cushions and folding chairs, holding paper cups of red wine nobody was really drinking. Zane was in the back. He wore a dark olive bomber jacket over a plain white tee, relaxed fit black jeans, and the same beat-up Converses. He had not planned to stay. He had walked past and heard someone reading something that stopped his feet. So he went in. He saw her in the 3rd row. Same energy. Different outfit. She had on a deep burgundy ribbed turtleneck tucked into straight-leg caramel-colored trousers with a thin brown belt. Her shoes were square-toe loafers in black. Her hair was down this time, loose natural coils around her shoulders. She had the notebook again. She was writing in it while someone else was performing, which should have been rude, but somehow was not. He sat 2 seats away. He did not say anything for 20 minutes. Then she leaned slightly toward him without looking up from her notebook. "You followed me," she said. "I didn't know you'd be here. Most people who say that are lying. I'm not most people." She looked up then. Really looked. Like she was reading something in him that was not on the surface. "You're the guy who deleted everything," she said. 4 million followers. Just gone. He went still. "You know who I am. I knew who you were on the roof. Didn't change anything." She turned back to her notebook. "Why'd you do it?" Nobody had asked him that directly. Not his team. Not his investors. Not his friends, because he had stopped returning their calls. "Because it stopped feeling like mine," he said. She was quiet for a long moment. "I'm Sora," she said. Not looking up. "Zane. I know." She wrote something. Closed the notebook. "Don't make this into a thing, Zane. I don't do things. I'm not making it into anything." "Good." They sat in silence for the rest of the reading. When it ended, she stood, tucked her notebook under her arm, and looked at him one more time. "The pen," she said. "You kept it." He reached into his jacket pocket. He actually had it. He had not even realized he'd been carrying it. She looked at that for a second longer than she needed to. "Keep it," she said. And then she walked out into the night, and he sat there in a folding chair in an empty warehouse, feeling something he had spent 2 years trying to stop feeling. He pulled out the pen. Turned it over. On the other side, in different ink, older, almost faded all the way. "Find what's worth it." He stared at that for a long time. His phone buzzed. A message from a blocked number he did not recognize. It said, "We need to talk about what you left behind. You don't know what they're planning to do with it." 2 weeks. They had not planned it. It just happened the way real things happen. Coffee that stretched into 4 hours. A walk that ended 3 neighborhoods away from where it started. A conversation about nothing that somehow said everything. Sora did not perform for him. That was the thing he kept circling back to. Everybody performed. Even the people who said they did not. But Sora just existed in whatever room she was in, and she let him exist in it too. He had started to tell her things. Not everything. But things. She wore a faded navy varsity-style jacket with nothing underneath except a simple white tank, baggy stone-washed jeans rolled twice at the hem, and worn slide sandals. She had her hair in 2 low braids. She looked like a sundae. He was in a soft gray quarter-zip and relaxed black trousers, white low-top Nikes. They were sitting on the steps outside a small library when she said it. "You never told me what you actually built. Before you deleted everything." He had been waiting for this. He set down his coffee cup. "Behavioral mapping software," he said. "It could read emotional patterns in users. Predict decisions before people made them. We called it adaptive engagement architecture." She looked at him carefully. "That sounds like manipulation. It was marketed as personalization." "That's not an answer." He exhaled. "No. It's not." She did not look away. "And the people who bought it? What were they going to do with it?" "That's what I didn't know when I sold it. And what I found out after." He told her. All of it. The acquisition. The late-night call from a whistleblower inside the acquiring company. The data. The targets. What his technology was actually going to be used for and who it was going to be used on. When he was done, she was quiet for almost a full minute. "So you walked away before the deal closed," she said. "Yes." "And the technology?" He looked at the ground. "They still have an early build version. From due diligence. Legally usable. She stood up slowly. Not in anger. In the way people stand up when something becomes real. The message, she said. The one you got after the poetry reading. You told me someone was warning you. Yeah. Zane. Her voice shifted. Lower. Like something had cracked inside it. That message. Can I see the number? He pulled out his phone. Showed her. She stared at it. Her face went completely flat. What? He said. Not a question. A recognition that something was wrong. She reached into her jacket and pulled out her own phone. Opened a thread. Turned it to face him. The same number. Months of messages. Back and forth. Sora. Who is this? She looked at him, and for the first time since he had met her, she looked like she did not know what to say. My brother, she said. He works for the company that bought you. She told him everything. That was what she said. Her brother Ren worked in the data division of the acquiring company. He had seen the internal roadmap for Zane's technology 3 months before Zane even walked away from the deal. Ren had been feeding Sora information. Trying to get her to find Zane. To warn him. He knew I would, she said. Because of my work. Zane looked at her slowly. What work? She set the notebook on the table between them. Opened it. It was not sketches. It was not poetry. It was documentation. User behavior reports. Internal screenshots. Dates, figures, names. Months of collected evidence against the company. I'm an investigative researcher, she said. I have been building a case for 8 months. The rooftop art market. The poetry reading. None of it was an accident. The room went cold. Not the air. Something else. You knew who I was, Zane said. Very quietly. Yes. Before the roof. Yes. He stood up. Walked to the window. The city outside looked the same as it always did and somehow completely different. The pen, he said. Did you drop it on purpose? She did not answer right away. That was its own answer. Zane. Don't. It started that way. Her voice did not waver. She had learned not to let things waver. I needed a connection point. My editor needed confirmation you'd talk. He turned around. And now? She met his eyes. Now I don't know how to finish this without it costing something I didn't budget for. He laughed, short and humorless. That's a very researcher way to say you have feelings. I do. No hesitation. That's the problem. He picked up his jacket. She watched him. What are you going to do? She asked. I don't know yet. If you disappear again, the story never comes out. They keep using your technology. On real people. I know. And if I publish without your cooperation, I have half the picture. It helps them spin it. I know that too. He stopped at the door. Did not turn around. You should have told me, he said. I know, she said. And she meant it in a way that had nothing to do with the story. He left. She sat alone in the room with the notebook open and the evidence and 8 months of work and one thing she had not planned for and could not document. Her phone rang. It was Ren. She picked up. He knows, she said. A pause. Then Ren's voice, low and strained. Sora. They found out about my leak. They're shutting down my access tonight. If Zane doesn't move in the next 48 hours, the archive gets purged and we lose everything. She closed her eyes. And there's something else, Ren said. They know about you. He came back at 2 a.m. She was still at the table. Same seat. Same notebook. The city outside had gone quiet the way cities go quiet when nobody is watching. He was in the same gray quarter zip, wrinkled now, locks fully loose. He looked like someone who had spent 3 hours walking and arrived somewhere different than where he started. She looked up. Did not say anything. He sat down across from her. They know about you, he said. Ren told me. You're not scared. I'm terrified, she said. That's different from scared. He looked at the notebook. What do you need from me? She exhaled slowly. A statement. On record. Your account of what the technology does, what you discovered, and what you walked away from. With your name on it. That ends any chance I have of staying quiet. They will come after everything. Yes. And your story goes everywhere. Yes. And you. He looked at her directly. What happens to you if this goes wrong? She held his gaze. That's not your problem to carry. I'm making it mine. Something moved across her face. She pushed it back down the way she always did. Why, she said. Because the pen said find what's worth it. He leaned forward. I've been holding that thing for 2 weeks trying to figure out what that meant. I think I just figured it out. She looked at him for a long time. The kind of looking that does not need words because words would only make it smaller. This is not going to be clean, she said. Nothing real is. She slid the notebook across the table. Opened to a blank page. Placed the pen beside it. Her pen. The one he had been carrying. He picked it up. He wrote for 40 minutes. Everything. The technology, the deal, the whistleblower call, the early build they still had, the internal documents Ren had confirmed, all of it, in his own words, in his own handwriting, signed at the bottom. She photographed every page. At 3:47 a.m. she sent the files to her editor. At 3:48 a.m. she closed the notebook and sat back. It publishes in 6 hours, she said. I know. You should probably talk to a lawyer before morning. Probably. Neither of them moved. For what it's worth, she said quietly. The roof. The warehouse. The steps outside the library. I stopped calculating somewhere in the middle of all of it. I don't know exactly when. He nodded slowly. The pen, he said. Don't look back. Find what's worth it. Who wrote that? She looked at the notebook. My mom. She gave it to me before she died. Said she spent too long looking backward and not enough time choosing forward. He did not say he was sorry. She did not want that. He just held the weight of it with her in the silence. When the sun started to come up, slow and orange through the window, she looked at the light and then at him. Whatever happens next, she said. I'm glad it was you. He picked up the pen one more time. Turned it over in his hand. Then he set it down gently in front of her. Keep it, he said. It was always yours. The story published at 9 a.m. By noon it had reached every major outlet. By evening, 3 regulatory bodies had opened formal inquiries. Ren got out safe. The archive was preserved. Zane never rebuilt his platform. He never announced anything. He just kept existing quietly in the world, which was, it turned out, the loudest thing he had ever done. Sora finished her book 2 years later. In the acknowledgments she wrote one line that had nothing to do with journalism. It said, to Z. You chose forward. The end.